Hey, P Street Garage here, and got a new little car to add to my channel. Uh, this is our latest acquisition. This, in fact, is going to be my son's car, or it is my son's car. He bought this with his own money. It is a Chevrolet Cruze. It's a 2013, and if anybody knows these cars, they're considered a very cheap, very economical. Basically, it's a modern day Cavalier or a modern day Chevette, um, considered a disposable car. But this one here we picked up for relatively cheap, and I say relatively cheap because, as you know, the price of used cars is through the roof. This one is very clean, very clean. Has a leather interior. It's got the 1.4 liter turbo engine. It's got a couple of very minor dings. Very minor. I get the impression this car, here's another ding. I get the impression this car was well looked after. I mean, whoever owned this car before had it at Permashine. And, you know, if you're going to spend money on Permashine, getting the paint treated and getting the vehicle rust proofed and that, it's because you care about your car. So we paid $3,900 for this car. To some people that might seem expensive, but for where I live, the part of the world where I live, 3,900 Canadian is pretty darn good. You see the headlights, they're not yellowed or anything. Looks pretty good. It's got the alloy rims, although they're a little bit pitted. It's an upgrade from just the steel wheels with the hubcaps. Like I said, I'll show it a little bit more in a bit. Full leather interior, very spotless. However, this car, of course, we would never buy anything perfect. This car does have some issues. Currently, the air conditioning does not work. The gas gauge doesn't work, and the temperature gauge doesn't work. So the fact that those two things aren't working at the same time leads me to believe that it could be something simple. We're not sure. It could be something simple. Could be as simple as a fuse. I'm going to poke around a little bit. Also, the AC blower, or the blower motor, sounds like a freight train. So I think it's an easy swap on this one. So let's take a closer look at this car. So here's just a quick peek at the interior. You know, it's absolutely spotless. This car is spotless. Leather seats. There's not one scratch, tear, anything. The dash looks good. All the plastics looks really clean. Look at the inside of the doors. The bottoms of the doors. This is a 2013. There's no rusting, no bubbling, nothing at all. It's got all the power options, of course. Back seat looks good. Very nice, very clean. You know, you really got to look for the flaws on this one. Little tiny, looks like somebody must have backed into something. There's a little tiny crack on the back plastic here, but nothing to really worry about. I had a peek underneath. It looks rust-free and clean. As mentioned, the alloys are quite pitted, but that's minor. These could be sanded, painted. Let's have a peek under the hood. So here's our massive power plant, the 1.4. This is a turbo car, so yes, 190,000 kilometers. So if this turbo has never been replaced, that's probably something that we will encounter. But the thing with this engine is there's lots of space all around. I did a little bit of research online. I really don't know that much about these cars, but I do know that the parts are readily available and they're relatively cheap, and getting your hands in to do work is easy. So quick glance, these engines are known for various oil leaks, and this engine looks pretty dry. And they're also known for, I think there's a thermostat housing down there, and I think that's plastic. Those are known to break, but again, easily accessible and relatively cheap. It looks to me like there's a brand new valve cover gasket on this, so maybe a little bit of work has been done here. We bought this from a dealer, so we don't really know the history. Taking a gamble. So I've mentioned a few of my issues. Let's see if we can sort any of this out. There's a fuse panel here. I'm going to get my tester and I'll start checking the fuses. See if our issues are simple. Of course we're going to have to get this car put through an inspection, so that's coming up in the very near future. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, so here's some of our issues here. Check engine light is on. I'm getting this warning here on the dash that the AC is off due to high engine temperature. I did a little bit of reading on this. I'm not sure. I'm hoping that somebody had an issue and resolved it, or maybe somebody saw this and flogged the car. Everything I read pointed towards a temperature sensor, which is very inexpensive. So I'm hoping that will be the issue there. And you can see that the gas gauge is reading empty, and the temperature gauge, even after driving, it doesn't move. So that's got to be something with the cluster, the instrument cluster. Maybe a fuse. I mean, maybe it's wishful thinking. I'm hoping it's simple. Anyway, at least we're starting with a good clean car, and we didn't spend too much money. So let's do a little bit of digging and see if we can sort any of this stuff out. I do have a code reader, but most important, I'm going to take my multimeter and start checking fuses. And I never even looked. Maybe if there's an owner's manual. There we go. There's an owner's manual. And this car was inspected. It was inspected. Yeah, but the dealer where I bought it, by law, they have to remove the sticker because they're selling the car as is with no warranty. So anyway, so this car was inspected about a year ago. So you never know, but I'm hoping that it's not going to be anything too serious. Okay, let's dig through this manual and see if we can get anywhere with this gauge here. Okay, so I checked all the fuses for this gas gauge. Now, the reason I'm going this route, the salesman told me the tank was full. I don't even know. The tank could be empty for all I know. He mentioned maybe fuse. I checked all the fuses. The fuses are all good. But I do see this. I got my my OBD2 plugged in, and it says fuel level sensor A circuit high input. I have no idea what that means, but I have a P0463. Now, maybe there's a sensor somewhere for this fuel level. I don't know. Anyway, I got something here. I don't know if I could erase that. Erasing off, blah, blah, yes. Let's try that. Erase was successful. Well, just because you erase it doesn't mean anything. But yeah, there it is. Something just, oh, fuel level low. Well, that's nice. So, okay, well, okay, so we have one code. That's one thing to go by. And so we'll assume that the fuses, it's not a fuse issue. And I also have this, as I just mentioned, this AC off due to high engine temperature. And I did read about this before. This is a sensor under the hood. So let's research that also. Okay, so I did quite a few checks on the Cruze, and as far as my fuel gauge is concerned, I was hoping maybe it would be a fuse, maybe be something simple. I did a little bit more research. I took the car for a drive again. I put gas in the car just to be sure. The car is now full of gas and the gauge is still indicating 0. I think I've got this narrowed down to the fuel sending unit, which would involve dropping the tank and everything else like that. So I'm going to hold off on that for now. I did drive the car for about half an hour today, and my temperature gauge, which was frozen the last time, appears to be working fine today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave those alone for now. I had my OBD2 sensor or scanning tool like you saw, and I pulled up several codes. So I'm very limited to what I can do with just the little unit like this one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the car to the car runs really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it for its inspection, and my brother-in-law at Main Street Auto, he has an opening this afternoon, so I'm going to take the car there now, and let's get this up on the hoist, and hopefully I'll be able to do a little bit of footage, and we'll look at the undercarriage. And he also has a much more sophisticated scan tool, so he'll be able to maybe pinpoint my issues a little bit closer. So heading over there now, let's see how we make out. Okay, here's our 2013 Chevy Cruze. We're getting our inspection done. Everything looks good. Lots of meat on the brake pads. The chassis undercarriage is very nice. This is a 9-year-old car. Very happy about this. Of course, it's hard to see when you buy a car. You can't always see this stuff, but very happy with this. The chassis is in very good shape. There's a small issue. We found some air conditioner dye, so it appears that we don't have an AC because the evaporator has a split in it, but we can live with that going into winter. It's something we can maybe address later. So we have no AC, but it looks like there was a couple of leaks at some point underneath, but the car, as mentioned before, has a newer valve cover gasket, so that was probably a leak that was addressed. So we're just going to give it an oil change now, and we'll be on our way. The car will be safetied for the road. So good news. Okay, well, we're back from Main Street Auto, and you saw a little bit of footage of the car. So the it's a good car. We got a safety inspection, so we're valid. Safety inspected for 2 years, so good to go. Pretty happy about that. It's pretty rare that you buy a car as is that doesn't really need anything, but like I said, as clean as this car was, we're willing to take a chance. So here's my slip. The car is road ready, roadworthy, and good for 2 years. So and we also got a fresh oil change done, synthetic. So more to come on this little project. I'm gonna try to pick away and address some of the issues. So thanks for watching, and I'll be posting more on this little car, a very common car, and I'm gonna try to address some of the common issues that plague these cars. So I'm no expert on a Chevy Cruze. I just bought this, but I think it's worth digging in and addressing what needs to be fixed. Of course, we're going to try to stay on a budget. We don't want to overspend. And when I was at the shop getting the MVI done, he ran the car through his scan tool, and it brought up even more codes than what I had. So instead of just changing sensors willy-nilly, which is kind of the way I was going earlier today, I'm going to hold off a little bit. He cleared most of the codes. Most of the codes were able to be cleared. Now, it doesn't mean that the issues are gone, but for now, we're just going to keep an eye. We're gonna get a plate. We're gonna drive the car. We're gonna use it, and we'll sort issues out as they come. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.